I'm leaving the lights on for the next 3 nights to see what cool animals I can find. Some of the coolest animals are nocturnal, which means they only come out at night, so most people never get a chance to see them until now. So be sure to stick around because after each night, the bugs only get cooler. And on the 3rd night, I saw some of the most beautiful moths I've ever seen. But let's get started with night 1 and see what came up to the lights. The first thing to show up tonight was a ton of cicadas. These guys have no natural defenses, so they're completely harmless. And near the cicadas, I found this plant hopper that looked just like a miniature cicada, although I don't think they have a common name. Oh, and look at this guinea paper wasp crawling on the light. These guys have a beautiful coloration, but they're also pretty aggressive and have a nasty sting. And near the wasp was this leaf roller cricket, and he was not happy about being caught. While I was filming, there were a ton of toads hanging around and hunting for food, just like this big guy right here. And above them were some crickets, so I tossed one down so you can see what their tongue looks like in action. Oh look, this European hornet just flew up to the light. This is North America's only true hornet, and it's definitely one of the scariest bugs. And speaking of scary, nearby on a window was a nursery web spider, and it had just caught a moth to eat. And it looks like the moth is still alive. Creepy. Luckily though, this 2-line spittlebug is much less terrifying. They get that name because the nests that they build look like a foamy ball of spit. Oh, but look at this Dobson fly that just flew up to the light. Those pinchers look scary, but they're actually used for mating. They'll definitely still use them to try and bite you though. The Dobson fly was also the last bug that I saw tonight, and after each night, I'll be turning off the lights to make sure the animals don't stick around until morning. However, let's move on to night 2 and see what cool stuff showed up. The first thing I noticed tonight was a ton of tiger beetles running around everywhere. These guys are actually pretty ferocious hunters. Just look at how big those jaws are. I was even lucky enough to watch one snatch up a cricket mid-hunt. He even started eating the cricket right in front of me. That is so cool. And while I was watching the tiger beetle eat, I saw this copperhead nearby. You've got to be really careful when you're walking around at night. The first thing to show up to the lights though was this click beetle. They get that name because of the clicking noise they make when flipping themselves off of their back. This grapevine beetle also showed up not long after, and this guy was a pretty chunky beetle. And if you look closely, you can see his abdomen muscles flexing to fold up his wings. Oh, and check this out, a triceratops beetle just flew up to the light. They get that name from the 3 horns that are protruding from their head. They are also insanely strong. There were also a ton of longhorn beetles that came up to the light. They get that name from their extremely large antennae. And this species has a ton of variation, like this dark brown prionoid beetle. It sounds like he's chirping like a bird. Here's a light brown red oak borer. Here's a light brown one with white spots. This is called an ivory marked borer. And this large and very angry gray one is a northern pine sawyer. And nearby I found this American burying beetle. These guys feed on decaying animals, which is exactly what it made my fingers smell like after holding it. I was then very surprised to see a best beetle fly up. Believe it or not, they can actually fly to find new homes and mates. I was even lucky enough to see one take flight, even though it didn't last very long. Afterwards, this 10-line June beetle came up to the light, and it looked like it had some very long eyelashes. These are actually specialized antennae that can pick up on the pheromones of mates. But take a look at this, it's a female Hercules beetle. This is the largest beetle in the United States. And wow, it is so strong I can't even hold on to it. What an incredible bug. However, this next bug might be one of the rarest I've ever found. This is a male stag beetle. Just look at how big those pinchers are. They look super intimidating, but they're actually used to fight with other males for mates, so a bite wouldn't be that painful. That amazing find was the last bug I found that night, but before we move on to the best night yet, I want to remind you to please like and subscribe. It means so much to me and it really helps me out. However, without further ado, let's see what came up to the light on night 3. The first thing I saw on this night was a couple of moths doing a secret handshake, so I decided to leave them alone. I also saw a ton of smaller moths like this banded tussock moth. I also found this beautiful rosy maple moth. They're also called strawberry banana moths due to their yellow and pink coloration. However, it wasn't long before I saw a giant imperial moth. And then another, and then another. These guys have a ton of variation in pattern and color, and they look just like an autumn leaf. Some of them even had so much fuzz, I wasn't sure how they could see. They also have a pretty interesting self-defense stance that I thought I would show you. This giant leopard moth came up not long after. It gets its name from those spots that you see on its back. They also have a beautiful blue hue on their underbelly. Oh, and check out this Luna moth that just flew up. These guys are pretty rare to see this late in the summer, so it's exciting exciting to see one. They also get their names from the spots on their backs that are supposed to resemble moons, and hanging from the light nearby was this beautiful Promethea moth. Those spots on its wings are supposed to look like eyes and make them look much bigger and scarier than they actually are. Because let's be honest, that face isn't scaring anybody. Oh, and look at this regal moth that just flew up to the light. This is my favorite moth and easily one of the most beautiful bugs in the world. That orange and blue coloration is absolutely stunning, and fittingly, it gets its name Regal because it's so vibrant it could be royalty. What a lucky find. However, that's all I found after 3 nights, so if you thought any of the bugs I found were cool, be sure to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.